to You Can Do It Too, a podcast highlighting regular folks who followed their dreams and made it happen. I'm Joan Hutchinson, your restaurant maven. I've been described as a risk taker, though I never thought of myself that way. My mom always told me I could do or be whatever I wanted as long as I set my mind to it, and I believed her. I ran a successful catering company that led to owning and operating a top 10 Orange County restaurant and catering venue, prior to earning a bachelor's degree in business management and marketing. You know what I learned by going to school after all of that? You don't need a degree to accomplish your dreams. You need drive, passion, and a belief in yourself. You also need some caring folks who support you and believe in you. I didn't need a formula to tell me how to properly staff for a week. I needed common sense and a deep care for creating outstanding dining experiences for my guests. I've been coaching and consulting with salespeople and small business owners for the last few years and blogging with business advice. I just wanted to do more, to reach more of you. I decided to talk with folks I admire, who kick ass at what they do, to show you that you can do it too. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Back from our hiatus. We are going on year 2, so thank you for joining me. I'm Joan Hutchinson, your restaurant maven, and this is You Can Do It Too. So I'm going to go ahead and give an introduction to my guest, Cassie Kramer. From the beginning, Cassie was destined for a career in real estate. Her parents owned an interior design and decorating company when she was young. She spent many hours watching her mom design homes and her father complete construction projects. One of her childhood hobbies was sketching on graph paper and designing tiny homes and mansions. Design, fashion, and marketing have always been passions. She loves the history of architecture, textiles, and design. Because of that love, she attended Mizzou, University of Missouri, in the Textile and Apparel Management program with an emphasis in marketing. After graduating, she spent several years in the management sector for Ann Taylor and several years owning restaurants with her husband, Chris. In 2009, with the recession in full swing, life gave her the opportunity of new adventures. Her son, Jacob, was born in August of that year, and she wanted a career with more flexibility and that allowed her to utilize all of her skills and to not miss the most important moments of her son's life. The real estate industry was a perfect fit for her love of marketing, knowledge of home construction, and desire to provide an excellent client experience. What was meant to be a part-time job quickly turned into a full-time career. In 2013, she built her own real estate team, and by 2018, Cassie and her husband, Chris, opened their own brokerage. Since then, Copper Key Realty has consistently been a top-tier real estate brokerage, providing customized coaching for each sales associate in their company and a customized experience for each client. Cassie's also luxury certified and a registered mentor through the Residential Real Estate Council. Just this year, Cassie and Chris opened the only Century 21 office in St. Charles County, Missouri. This merger creates amazing value for their clients and sales associates. With this change, Cassie is looking forward to continuing to coach and mentor agents as they progress to their career path and become leaders in the real estate industry. The brokerage is a family business. You'll often find their children, Jacob and Georgia, at the office, helping in all kinds of ways. They are entrepreneurs at heart, and Cassie hopes that one day those kids will want to take over the business and continue serving their community. For Cassie, a home is a place where memories are made, and everyone deserves a space that fits their lifestyle and needs. A well-designed home can provide so much peace of mind. She absolutely loves helping clients with new construction, so they end up in a home they love on a budget they're comfortable with. Negotiating for her clients is something she never takes for granted. No contract is like another. Copper Key Century 21 is in a business with humans, so every contract has special circumstances which need tending to. Cassie thinks of each contract as a puzzle where she carefully assembles the pieces without missing any parts or disrupting the whole image as they come together. Thanks so much for joining me, Cassie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you. I've been watching your career progress,
I
seeing
know.
all of your
Yeah.
achievements, and just feeling so proud that I know you and knew you so long ago. So, congratulations on
Oh, thank
everything
you.
that you've
Yeah, it's been a
accomplished.
whirlwind since then. I know we often look back on everything and it's just, life, you put your faith in God and just go. So
Yes,
that's pretty much what we've done.
I love that.
I know you've done the same.
Yeah, right. We just take a big
Yeah.
deep breath and jump,
Yeah.
right?
Just jump. Yep,
Just jump.
absolutely.
Um, you have such a cool story. I love the picture that I get in my mind when I hear that, your parents were designing
Yeah.
and you just sat down and did that too, and that's so fun. Um, can we just start at the beginning, because you love design and you went to school for that,
Yes.
and so many people go to school and then never work in the industry
Right.
that they studied, and you were lucky enough to work at Ann Taylor. So can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Well, so that starting at the beginning with my parents, like truly, I spent so much time in their store with them every single day. I joke I grew up on construction sites because they built their own homes, and so if we weren't helping clients, we were then, you know, on our own home sites working on our own projects, and so we that's all we did. I everything from my grandpa would he put the bricks on our house. It was a family affair all around at that point. And so I from that artistic standpoint, I love drawing the houses out. I love marketing
Mhm.
for that reason. And then moving it to Mizzou, the textile at that point, I didn't want to do exactly what my mom did, because that was the interior design was her aspect. So I wanted a little twist on it. So I went more towards the apparel side. The that degree, the program, right when I graduated, the job that I had been trained for at that point was essentially eliminated because of technology. It was to
Oh,
be a buyer for all of these big companies, and that job just wasn't needed like it had been in the past. So I kind of was a
uh-huh.
little lost for a minute. But Ann Taylor offered a great opportunity to work for a company that has a great customer service platform. They really they under there's a lot of development that goes into how to take care of the customer. And then for me, I ended up being in charge of the visual marketing because I just loved it. I love piecing the stores together and making them look beautiful and presentable. And then that mentality is really what transferred, and that training transferred over into real estate, because we very much try and create the same. It's an experience. When you walk into an Ann Taylor store, it's an experience. When you walk into a restaurant, you're there for the experience, right? And
Yeah.
so then it's how do you take care of your customers while they're involved in that experience? So we really carry that through into real estate, to give them something more than just doing the actual job of selling
Right,
houses.
right. And you can see that. I think it comes through on your website, the care that you have for the
Yeah,
people that you're
I
working
hope
with.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I think it does.
Yeah.
So when you were at Ann Taylor, you said you owned restaurants with your husband. Were you working
Mhm.
in the restaurants with him too?
Yes, so that's where we met at Mizzou, and we were met at the University Club, which is unfortunately no longer open, but that's where Chef Daniel Poliska was the executive chef there,
Mhm.
and he took Chris under his wing, and got him to the level where he was a certified executive chef through that program. So Chris was on the back of the house side, and he was the cook, and I was the server, and so we met in the middle in the kitchen, right on the
Uh-huh.
line, and it was really we did a nice job. The way we worked together was really good because I could take care of the front of the house, and he knew that that was handled, and then I knew that everything that he produced behind the line was perfect, right? So it was
Mhm.
easy to complete that experience for the customers. So
Right.
then we did the same with restaurants. I was front of the house, and then he took care of because I can't cook, so don't ask me to cook.
Yeah.
I can't cook anything, so
I don't.
no.
I also do not cook. I let my
Yes,
chef husband do all the
yes,
cooking.
yes.
Once in a while, I'll cook, but why would we want my cooking
Why?
when we could have
Yeah.
his,
You know,
right?
they do it so much faster and
Right? Yeah. Will you cut this? Cut that for
yeah,
me, you know?
I know. Oh, and then I don't, somehow I don't cut it, with the julienne cut or whatever. I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
here you go. You have
Yeah.
at it. Yeah.
I think at one point I went on strike from cooking because I felt like he needed a break. So I would cook. I cook a lot more than I do now, like I said. But
Yeah.
he would. I would say. I would ask for one little piece of advice, and then he would
Yes.
end up telling me how to do everything. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to cook anymore.
Right.
Which
Right. Well, because
it may
they see
have
it on a
been
whole
his
different.
intention.
It could have been. Stay in your lane. No, I like if I follow a recipe, I can pull it off. Like it's a baking, I can bake because I can follow the recipe, right? So
Right.
cooking is the same. I can follow that recipe, but if I were to just open up the refrigerator and come up with anything, it takes me a lot longer
Yeah.
to put it together. And and his is better. It's always better.
Yeah.
So
Right.
other than he can't make like mac and cheese very well, can't do that.
Well, yeah, they don't know how to open the box and put the powder
No,
in there, right?
no. How do you do that? Yeah, yeah. It's,
When I say that's the mac and cheese I like, oh, I hear
I
it for
know.
days.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
I am lucky to have some amazing award-winning cheeses right up the road. Door Artisan Cheese in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin offers small batch cheeses that have been winning awards for years. And in Wisconsin, that's some tough competition. You don't have to live in Door County to get these cheeses, though. Just go to doorartisancheese.com and check out their selection. Their most popular is the Top Hat Cheddar, but my favorite is their beer-washed Gouda called Valmy. Check them out for yourself at doorartisancheese.com. If you're an expert in your field, have a unique story to tell, or an interesting point of view, it's time to explore the world of podcasting with Kitcaster, a podcast booking agency. You can expect a completely customized concierge service from their staff of communication experts. Kitcaster is your secret weapon in podcasting for business. Your audience is waiting to hear from you. Go to kitcaster.com/maven to apply for a special offer for friends of this podcast. But you enjoyed working with him.
I did. Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
so
We're
then,
good.
yeah, because now you work with him again.
Yeah, we still do. I know we
Yeah.
get lots of comments on that. Everybody, no one can believe that we do. And it's not that it isn't without its stress points. I mean, we're together a lot, but at the end of the day, we both know that we have each other's back, and he has strengths and weaknesses, and I have strengths and weaknesses. And so we are able to help each other out in those points where we falter. We both can come in and create a complete team that way. But it has worked. It always works when we work together. It always creates something just amazing. It just does.
Yeah.
And we're
awesome.
like 23 years in now, so it's still like it's great.
So if it wasn't going to work, it wouldn't have worked by now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're both terribly stubborn, so that plays a part.
Yeah. So going back, I'm trying to chronologically. So having kids and the economy, that changed your priorities, right?
It did. Yeah.
So having Jacob made you jump into real estate.
Yes.
So was that scary to you?
Oh, I fought it for so long. So my father-in-law is in commercial real estate, and he, for years, was trying to get me to, at the time, I thought going into the dark side of real estate. And I'm like, no, I told him, I'm not that person. I'm not a cheesy real estate agent, and he said, just don't be that, just be yourself. And so I finally decided to give it a shot. And his point was, I'm good at sales, I'm good at marketing, and I know homes. I know how homes are built. And most real estate agents, that's the part where most real estate agents don't have that background. That really has always given me an advantage. But he wanted me to go into commercial real estate. So I think I did disappoint him a little bit, because the commercial industry is a whole other beast. And I don't have the soul for that. That's a whole other thing. So, so Jacob, though, like getting into, when I found out I was pregnant with Jacob, having kids was always a question mark for me, because I didn't know if I'd be a good mom. And so when I found out that we were expecting him, I knew I just wanted to be the best mom I could. And I didn't want to miss all the moments, because my parents had that company, and I was with my grandparents all the time. I wasn't with my parents a whole lot. They always worked. And I remember crying and begging my parents, to say, I would pretend like I was sick from school, just to get time with my mom. So that I'm like, I've got to do something, because restaurants and retail are holidays, weekends, So my first Mother's Day, my very first Mother's Day, I was working I'm trying to think, at that point I was with Talbots at that point, because I had switched. And then the store manager, made me work the entire day, my first Mother's Day. And her comment was, if I'm going to be in retail, I might as well get used to it, being away from my, I know. So I put in my 2 weeks notice. I said, that's it. I'm going to real estate. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to take a leap, and I'm going to see what happens. My gosh. Yeah, I mean, that was it.
You know what? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? I'm sure that there were people working that were not moms that could have worked.
There were other options. Yeah. And she just wanted to prove a point. So I said, okay, well, we can part ways then. That's fine. It's not going to happen ever again. And it hasn't. So no, I meant to do real estate part-time. That was my full intention, was so I joined a team, and I meant to just do that on the side. Didn't really think about how far I would want to go with it, other than just extra income for our family. And I sold like 30 houses the first year. It was and in the peak of the down economy, like when no one could sell anything, I got a lot of houses sold. So
what were you doing? What were you doing that was making that happen?
It is persistence to not give up. Persistence, and we needed the money, quite honestly. The money was great, and we needed it. And so, you have to have that drive for success. You have to have something that's pushing you, because it's, no matter what you do, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be stress points. And so on those hard days, what are you going to do to push through, to make it happen, and for this purpose, to help people get the house that they really want. Right. And, I
think remembering why you were doing it because your family needed it, and that was important to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good, it's a pretty good reason.
Good motivation, but also luckily people trusted me. When they met me, they could tell, I honestly believed in their desire to own a home, or just, if they're wanting to sell, and they knew that I guess they could see that fire in me, that I would do anything it took to get it done. So I'm a fighter at heart. I've got that in me, so Chris is a good balance. He's always nice and steady, so.
Which is so funny, because usually the chefs are not the nice ones.
I know they're not. No, I have stories to that end, but that's a whole other, that's a different podcast.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
So what made you, so then you're clearly you're good at it, clearly.
Yeah, evidently.
So that made you just go, well, shoot, I guess I'm a full-time realtor.
It basically, so at that point, some of those years get kind of muddled together for me because it all kept happening so fast. So I ended up separating from the team that I was on. And that again was because I was generating enough of my own business that it made sense for me to move on and start my own team. And then I added who is now our office manager. One of my very first clients is now our office manager, and she has been, I think, since 2015.
So
And
when
she's
when you say you started your own team, so you are
yes,
working with a group of people, and you
yeah,
you all helped each other selling your
correct,
homes and doing all the work, like doing the open houses, and shared the work and the money, right? Is
correct,
that
yes,
okay? So
yes,
then you you were probably doing better than most of them. So then you were like, okay, I'm going to do my own team. So now you have other people that are helping you at that
me,
point.
right, right. And
Okay.
at that point, it was me and Libby, and so I kept, then I kept growing, and so then I needed someone else, and so that's when Chris got licensed. So Chris
Okay.
became licensed because I am very controlling, because I want to make sure that my clients are taken care of the way that I want them taken care of. So finding, me trusting someone else was hard, but I knew I could trust Chris. And so that's when he
Right.
was at Lacole, and that's when he left there, which was, oh my goodness, you talk about scary. Because I was pregnant with Georgia at the time, and so I not only did I have that going on, but then we had, Chris was leaving his career and
Right.
joining mine. And there were a lot. That was hard. That was a very hard time to push through. Very
But
hard.
he was ready to leave.
He
No? Did
was,
it take you
yeah.
talking him into it, or did he go, why don't I
Well,
start?
a little bit of both. I think there were some dynamics there that helped motivate him to want to look for something else. That
Right.
industry, the restaurant industry, is very rewarding, and it can suck the life out of you as
Yes.
well. It just
Yes.
can.
Yes, it can.
Um, yes. So it was a change that needed to happen for several different reasons. And mostly because for the same reason, he didn't want to miss all of the events of the kids' lives either. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what would happen. So we, ran the numbers and took a leap. And the first year was really, really hard. And then it got better from there. We kept putting in the work, and Chris had to decide. That's a big to leave a profession that has so been linked to your identity as a
Mm-hmm.
human,
Mm-hmm.
um, to walk away from that. And it's the same thing. Now you're a real estate agent, and people think of us like used car salesmen, and they have to,
Right.
chefs have respect. They have respect because they have a
Yeah.
skill, and
Yeah.
so there was an
Why
element of
is that?
accepting. Yeah.
It's
They
the
do.
title.
People love it, and you can feed them, and they love the food, and
Right.
it is it's a special and it is special. And it's so sad to me that sometimes it takes so much out of them, but that's where they leave their heart
Mm-hmm.
on the table, and
Mm-hmm.
so Chris had to kind of come around and accept that he was in the real estate industry now. And so and then
Mm-hmm.
he really found his space as a broker. So he is the broker of our company, and that role is really his sweet spot, because you have to have somebody who can calm things down, if because emotions can get high in
Right.
that process of buying and selling a home. And he's very effective at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got licensed, but you can't just be a broker, right? You have to be a realtor for
2 years, yeah.
two
You're
years before
correct.
you can be a broker. So
Yeah.
so he sold homes for 2 years, and then he took
Yes.
on this brokerage. And when you're a broker, you're like the money guy or the lead
Yeah, he's
in
the
the
numbers guy for sure.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So he helps with business development for like profit and loss statements. So all
Mm-hmm.
of that came from the restaurant industry carries through, because there's so many realtors that run their business. Well, they don't. I should say they don't run their business like a business. They
Right.
run it as secondary income, and so he is very good at. Um, making sure that people have their P&Ls and that they're saving money for taxes and
Mm.
planning and budgeting. So he really helps the agents get to that point in their career.
So, so what made you decide to open your own brokerage? It wasn't
Mm,
just Chris joining you. It
no,
was, what happened?
that hand of God. I just, we have friends who bought a building with another company. And so they had an extra space. And I had been in the building a few times. They remodeled the whole thing and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's K Build owns the bottom and Double J Roofing own the top. And so Double J asked if we would be interested in the extra space. At that point, we had our own team going. I had two or three buyer's agents on my team at that point, my office manager and Chris. And we just jumped. It was the same thing, like, because I knew I would never have the opportunity to be in a building that beautiful again. And that, you know, it's just, we just went for it. It wasn't, we loved where we were. We loved all the people that we worked with at the other company.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that, it just was an opportunity and we just knew we had to take it. And,
Oh, clearly it
again,
was the right
scary.
one.
It did. It did. Again, scary. It's like we can't go like a
Right.
year without pushing it again. I don't know.
Like,
Honestly,
can we just relax now?
I know. Can we just,
No, no, I think
no.
we need to do this.
I know. It's
Well,
terrible. Yeah.
uh, because one goal, it's not really about reaching the goal. It's about the stuff you do to reach the goal
Yeah.
that makes you feel
Yeah.
good, right? I mean,
Right. Right.
yeah, you see something and you're like, wow, we could do that. We could make that happen. And it's about the actions you take that make it happen, that make you feel good,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I
There's an
mean,
adrenaline rush to all of
yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So maybe,
once you hit the point that you're like, okay, we can only be in this gorgeous building if we do this much business, and then you do this much business, and you're like, okay, we did that much business.
yes. And now
Right?
what?
Now
And
what?
you do.
Now what?
And you keep, and I remember years ago, like, when I hit a certain volume, I don't know, whatever it was, I hit that and I kept doing that. And then I'd have a bigger month. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, actually, I'm capable of doing that. Like, this is okay. It was uncomfortable, but I made
Mm-hmm.
it. And so and so I think no matter what business you're in, you're going to hit those pressure points, or maybe you'll realize that that was too much and it didn't fit with what you want for your life, because there's that too. Like I said, the whole reason I got started in this is so I could still be with my kids.
Right.
So, like, I have no desire to be number one realtor, whatever. It has never been something I want. I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I have enough business to take care of my family and to take care of the clients who trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want, now by several blessings, we've been able to increase that because we
Mm-hmm.
have people here that we trust that also have the same desire to take care of clients to that
Right.
extent too. So,
I think that is what makes you so successful, Cassie, because if your focus is not about how great can I be, but it's about how great of an experience can I give to my customers,
yeah,
you're only
yeah,
going to grow, and you're only going to do well because it's about what you do, and it's about the service you provide, and it's not about you.
right. Everybody who
Yeah.
like I, I hate being in, like, doing this that's part of why I avoided your emails for a little bit too, because it's not my thing. Like, I like being in the background. I
Uh-huh.
like taking care of the details. I don't like
You don't
that
want to be in the
spotlight.
limelight. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
I love that you said that, because I have asked a lot of people to be on the show that go, I really, I don't know what I could say.
yeah,
And and everyone's good at something. So what it is talking with you about this makes other people go, well, I could do it. I could do that
Yeah.
too. If I just let go, let God, right? Let go,
Yep.
let it happen, take the leap, jump off that cliff, do what it is that I really want to do, that my heart
Right.
tells me that's what I should be doing. I mean,
Yeah.
think how amazing this world would be if everyone
Right.
let themselves, you know?
Just go and experience. And not that you don't, I mean, goodness, I doubt myself every day. I mean,
Mhm.
every day
Mhm.
it's something that, and then you find that other voice that says, just move forward,
Mhm.
and whether that's your angels looking out for you or God pushing you that direct, you have to be open to it and just know that if you're putting good into the world, it'll all take care of itself. You're going to make mistakes. You're
Yeah.
going to do things that you wish you had done differently, but those mistakes are opportunities to grow. And
Mhm.
if you hit something hard, you've gotta just make that learning point and then
Mhm.
move forward. Some of
Yeah.
the hardest things we've been through gave us the most amazing blessings.
Mhm. Ah.
You know, it
Oh,
it's just true.
that's so great. I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
I know every time I say that, my husband's like, you say that all the time. I love that. But I
No, it is
do.
so
What a great thing
true.
it is,
Yeah.
right? I,
Yeah.
things that you go
But
through that suck so bad. And then you're on the other side and you're like, wow, I made it
yeah,
through that.
right.
Wow.
Right. You
Wow.
forge a new part of you.
I
Yes.
can do
Well,
this.
and
I
then the
can
next
get through.
thing, yes, the next thing that comes at you doesn't phase you. So now, like when we have new associates that come in, they they are always like, how do like, because I don't get rattled as much anymore.
Right.
And well, it's because of the things you're going through now. It's because of
Uh-huh.
those. This is we've got one, but that's like the most difficult situation. I can't even go into it. So it's her very first listing, and it is the most complicated situation.
Ugh,
And and I
of
when I'm
course.
on the phone, I know I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, it's fine, it's fine, it's totally fine. I get off the phone. I'm like, okay, this is the new one. How am I going to figure this out? So,
Oh
but
my
but for
gosh.
her, like, think how much she's learning right now. Had she
Right.
just had an easy transaction, so there's something putting this in front of her, and I genuinely believe God gives us people that need our help. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you're
Mhm.
doing. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. For me, I swear I get some of the most interesting and complicated people, and I do, and I love it. I absolutely love it because I don't. There's times where I know that no one else would have been able to handle that situation.
Mhm.
Because I can be patient and I can still help guide them and I can still help love them even though they're at their worst in life,
Right.
and we'll get
Yeah.
through it. So God
And
gives me those
that is a
people.
big talent. That is a huge talent.
Oh, it has some days, you know, some days more patient than others, right? I'm human too, but like I keep that at the forefront. Like they're in front of me for a reason.
Right.
And I think that's what every day of life is. Every day we go out into the world and even the smallest interaction can have an impact on somebody else. So, just try
Yeah.
and be aware of it as much as I
Right.
can. Yeah.
Yes. Uh, it's so much easier to go through life with a positive attitude
Yeah.
and feel good about yourself and who you are than to go through like with fear and anger
Yes.
all over you, you know?
Yeah. Well, and people seem to and I don't know. I think with social media, with everything, like it's so easy for all of us to go dark
Hmm.
so quickly on ourselves. And I just, you know, for everybody who knows us the best knows that we have been through some really hard times. And
Hmm.
I tell people, with marriage, with life, push through, don't give up.
Hmm.
Don't give up on what you've decided to build and create. Don't be afraid to pivot either. If you need
Hmm.
to make a change, but don't sit in your sadness. don't stay in that sadness. Pull yourself up out of it. Find resources that give you the reason to move on, because they're there. There's goodness out there that wants you to go towards it. But
thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's great advice. That is great. I know, but it's great advice. Yeah. And that's one of the things I was going to ask you is what advice would you give to, well, it sounds to me like you like to mentor a lot. You like to train and work with new realtors. Yeah. Are you, before I get into that, what I was going to say, are you doing that like with the board of realtors? Are you teaching and training with them at all?
Not through them. I first of all, I never thought I would be a good teacher, mentor. I never thought I would be good at it. I just didn't think that was who I am as a person, but I've been told otherwise. So because people enjoy it, and I try to explain things to, not just the do this, but the why you do this. Same thing we do with our kids too, right? We don't just tell them no, we explain the why behind the no. So I don't do it through the board yet, primarily because I still have little kids. So I'm really trying to watch that time very carefully. I hope to, as they get older, I hope to dive more into it with the board. The Residential Real Estate Council is a separate council, and so they have a different program there that offers mentoring as well. So they do training, which that training then helps me become a better mentor as well. And honestly, anytime you're collaborating with anybody, everybody grows. Everybody gets better. So, yeah.
And I mean, you work with. I'm sure you have team meetings and things like that with your team. So it's I love the contract side. I do. I explained it to somebody the other day. It was a client that's very artistic, and I said my contracts are my art, which I thought was a funny way of saying it. And they go,
I know, they're like, okay. I know.
You're nuts, but all right.
But it's a good, like for me, it's the way my brain works. I can see those puzzle pieces coming together, and so then trying to explain,
getting your client what they want, getting the seller what they want, making it all work, right?
Making it all come together, because sometimes it's easy and things just go together like they should, but most of the time you have everybody involved in the transaction has different needs. The sellers do, the buyers do. And so you're really trying to make sure that that everybody comes together at the end of the day, and that they're all not mad at each other, because that really isn't necessary. It just, because it's so easy to just start being mad at the opposing party, and it, for the most part, most people's intentions are not
king, right?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be that way. So we try and keep it peaceful. And with the agents that we're cooperating with too, sometimes, that person can be your hardest person to communicate with. Because as a real estate agent, it is not, my emotions have nothing to do with that process. I am there to represent my client's needs. If I let my emotions take over the conversation, I have completely failed to do my job. So that you have to hold it together. You have to be able to negotiate, to be tough, but not lose it, and still, and you should, because those are hard conversations to have, and to still respect each other as professionals at the end of the day.
Right.
We're there to do a job. It's not personal.
Yeah.
But we still have to,
Yeah. Let's figure out how we can all walk away with a smile. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So, gosh, you already gave us some great advice about, doing what you love, and knowing that that you can, and that you can always pivot and stick with your beliefs, with your strong beliefs. But Do you have another piece of advice for someone who's starting a business of their own?
Oh, be patient. Um, it's and be strong. You know, allow yourself the grace to fail, and maybe fail every day, but know that there still can be a path forward. You cannot give up on yourself. If something, you know, if this is something you're drawn to, and you have been called, no matter what it is, keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Keep focused, and don't let things distract you. Distractions are, they will come at you. The more you're going towards something good and something you should be doing, the more distractions will come at you, because there are forces trying to keep you from going down that path. So just know, the more distractions that come at you, it means you're doing the right thing, and you just need to keep going.
Oh my gosh,
Does that make
that
sense?
is awesome.
I really do. If I'm having a bad day, I'm like, get away from me. You get away. They're just distractions. They are. They're
I'm
trying
going to
to
keep that in my
stop
head.
you.
I love
Trying to
it.
stop
So
you.
you're on the right path. When those things pop up, you're going the right way. So
You're
throw them
going the
off.
right way. You just keep going. You just let them deflect. You know, get them off your back. So just keep going.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is
It
great.
helps. That like helps too a lot. Like if you're in a bad mood or having a bad day, like if you think of it like that it's not you, or it's not the person in front of you that caused you to be in a bad mood. It's that you're walking towards something good, and that you just have things coming at you trying to keep you off that path. So,
whoa, that's great. That is so great. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That is perfect to end this show. We don't want to go too long. This is it's been such a pleasure talking with you, Cassie.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your knowledge. And I look forward to all the goodness that is coming your way. I can't wait to see your kids as they're growing, and how life does great for you, because I know it will.
Yeah, you too. Same to you guys.
So
it's nice.
Thank you
catching up with you.
Cassie. Thank you to Chris Hutchinson for producing. Thank you to you for listening. I am Joan Hutchinson, your restaurant maven. Please know that we all have it in us to succeed. My guests weren't born into royalty. They're normal people like you and me who saw an opportunity and ran with it. So listen every other Sunday on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you again soon.